So everyone, hi, this is Mike Olson.
Massive
Mike, maybe you can
action.
quickly introduce yourself.
Hey, Hugo. First off, I'd like to thank you for having me on your podcast today. It's a great honor. Yeah, I'm Mike Olson from Charleston, South Carolina. Currently involved with about 515 doors
Hmm.
and 64 million under management, I believe, right around there.
Nice, nice. Okay, great. So let's jump right into the questions. First question, how did you first get into real estate? What inspired you? And then what was the aha moment that made you focus on multifamily?
Great question. First off, I started out doing home inspections back off in 2004.
Hmm.
I did about 1,800 inspections and slowly got my real estate license and kind of started doing both selling and doing home inspections at the same time. Then my real estate sales just started to pick up, and I decided I didn't want to crawl underneath houses anymore either.
Uh-huh.
So I just transitioned full time into sales. And I would say probably about 2 years ago,
Hmm.
really started researching multifamily and the other sectors. And then in 2024 or 2023,
Okay.
October, I jumped on board and started doing multifamily through Rod's program.
Okay. Okay. Great. 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 So walk us through, your first multifamily deal, the good, the bad, the ugly, and what surprised you the most?
So my first deal was actually an LP deal. It's 108 units in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, just off the peninsula here.
Okay.
Uh, I jumped right in with that after joining the program, just to kind of get a feel for the investing and all of that. Then, I really started to get to know some of the other warriors through Rod's program,
Hmm.
other investors and sponsors, lead GPs, just through the program. And one of the warriors, Derek Hogarty, asked me to jump on one of his deals in Columbia, South Carolina,
Okay.
and that was 66 units. So we closed that in December of last year.
Okay. How about your first deal as an LP? Oh, sorry, GP. Sorry, what am I saying? Yeah.
Yeah, that one is the GP, the one in Columbia.
Oh, the one
Yeah.
in Colombia. Okay, okay. Sorry, sorry. Okay, got
Yep.
it. Okay. You give me two answers there then. Okay.
Yeah,
Any
yeah, I'll go
any
through, kind of work through the deal for you.
okay, yeah.
Um, so this one is a fractured condo situation. So we only bought 66 of the units, which are about 51% of the total units in the space.
Okay.
And the reason why we did that was to try to get full control of the HOA,
Mm.
just because it's being poorly run. It needs a little bit of help, and we're in the process of trying to do that. We did have a little a funny story. One of the tenants that we did evict got pretty ticked off about the eviction, even though we deserved it, but dumped a
Yeah.
bag of concrete down the toilet.
Oh my goodness. What the
So we're dealing with that. So you asked for some good, bad, and ugly. So those are the types of
That's the
things that.
ugly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but
That yeah,
you
that
know,
that might be an answer to one of the questions I'm going to ask you later about the worst tenant stories. I hope you don't have anything that
that
goes beyond that
uh,
one.
yeah, we might just want to check that one off the list now because that's pretty much the worst. My partner had a guy drive through the front of one of his buildings
Hmm.
at another fractured condo. So that's probably the worst story I've heard thus far. But
Okay.
anyway,
Hopefully,
yeah,
hopefully you don't experience anything worse than that. That's already a pretty
yeah,
intense intense one. Okay,
yeah.
so how has your strategy evolved, or has your strategy evolved since that first deal? For example, maybe like deal criteria or risk tolerance or like any mindset sh shifts?
Mindset has not changed. I'm always just full speed, just full gas, just go, go, go. I
Okay.
raise capital for the deals. So thus far, I haven't done, a whole lot of, writing the LOIs or, the lead GP
Hmm.
type stuff.
Yeah.
Just been involved with bringing money to the table.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think the reason I want to ask that is because I think, some people after their first deal, they suddenly their mindset will shift and they will want to go into more very quickly. But I think it seems like you've always had the confidence from the get-go and you're just going full speed ahead. So that's good, I guess.
Yeah, well, full speed ahead and being cautious.
Well, yeah.
You really need to, pick not in my case, thankfully, I've got some really great teammates,
Hmm.
but just, anybody else starting out in the business, building that team and building that trust and things like that is so big in this industry, because if you had some poor leaders and lead GP, lead sponsors, whatever you want to call them,
Hmm.
that are leading the troops into the dark. So again, that's just something that is great for somebody starting out. It's just really pick your teams wisely and
Definitely, definitely.
work
I think
together as your
team is probably the most important thing, and real estate is definitely a team sport. So need to have,
correct,
good players around you, basically. Okay,
correct.
so let's jump into something else. What about your biggest lessons around? I'm not sure how much you can speak to this, but what are your biggest lessons around finding deals? And
Yeah,
then okay, go ahead.
no, I apologize. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
It's okay.
I have I spend quite a bit of time, on Crexy and LoopNet, finding the deals. But like I said, thus far, I've just been joining the capital raising as the
Right.
deals come to me, and at that point, they're pretty far along the GPs, the lead GPs or lead sponsors.
Well, then I think you have something else that you can share because, like, why do the deals keep coming to you, right? There must be some
Uh,
secret sauce there.
Yeah, being in residential real estate for 20 years, that's really how I've done so well with raising capital. You have a sphere of influence, people that you keep in touch with and keep up with, throughout the years. You have repeat business, you have investing clients that invest, in properties. So that's really what I've been doing is just kind of working through my sphere of influence and people that I know. I got a little bit lucky with a few big, investments right
Hmm.
off the rip. But bringing 2.75 to my very first deal has opened up quite a few doors for me.
I'm sure, I'm sure,
So
I'm sure. That's an
yeah.
impressive number, really. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm at about 4 million in the last about 6 months, I would say somewhere around there. So still
Okay.
going, baby.
Still going, still going. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
still
see what
making the
you'll do
call.
for the rest of the year. Okay, and
Yes,
then
sir.
what about any lessons around like operating or executing like the plan and so on or the underwriting?
Not for me. Once again, that kind of goes back. When I get these deals, I look over them, make sure that the underwriting looks good. What you really want to do, another thing is, you want to have numerous people underwriting these deals,
For sure,
and then
for
we
sure.
do a thing called trying to kill the deal.
Yes,
And
yes.
so we find things that could potentially happen and see, okay, well, if this possibly happens, can we cover it this way? How can we deal with that? So you've got so many people and so many, minds together reading through this stuff and, just making sure it's right and ready to go
Yeah.
by the time it hits the capital raisers.
Yeah,
So,
I definitely agree with that. The mindset of trying to kill the deal, just find every reason you can to walk away and then
yeah,
leave it alone.
yeah.
Yes.
And then if you
Okay, all right.
find a couple, then maybe you should.
Yeah. Okay, so now like bonus fire round, and again, maybe you already answered this question, but the worst tenant story. Maybe it's the guy that poured the cement down the toilet, or you have anything that beats that anything that tops that. Hopefully not.
We're doing, light to heavy turns, remodeling these units.
Hmm.
And then once we get them out, and get them remodeled, we can raise the rents up, and then in that case, hopefully brings a little bit better tenants in because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not,
I think a good tenant
uh,
base is
yeah,
every landlord's, sweet dream.
yeah. Yeah, and
Okay,
it's really uh, about making a place a home from them
right.
as well. You don't want these tenants to come in and just stay for a year. You want them to stay 4, 5, 6 years. Creating a nice home base to where they feel like they're at home and
Exactly.
it's a nice place to stay.
Yeah. I think that's a win-win, right? They have a nice, comfortable place that, is their home, and then you have a stable tenant staying in there as well. It's definitely a good scenario. Hey, if you've got a real estate deal, a problem, or even just a question, we want to hear about it. Doesn't matter if it's big, small, complicated, ugly, or somewhere in between. If it's a good deal, we're absolutely interested. Period. And if you've got capital, you need to put to work in solid real estate opportunities. We've got those too. Either way, let's talk. Here's how this works. We always need more deals. We always need more capital. And we always find a way to make it happen. No games, no runaround. If we can't work together directly, we'll hand deliver you to someone who can. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite expense saving hacks?
Any favorite expense
Or
saving?
just an expense saving hack, or just something? I don't know.
Um, well, I could give you an example of just how we're adding value to one of
Okay.
our other deals. The previous owners, there was washers and dryers in all the units currently, and they're not charging for those units
Hmm.
for the washer and dryers. So once we get in there, we're actually going to start charging for those. So I'll give you a money making hack rather
Okay, well,
than
that it's
saving
they,
hack.
they both balance out. You either increase
Yeah,
income or reduce expenses. It's fine. So that
yeah,
that that
right.
works. That works. Okay.
Yeah.
How about what do you consider to be like your unfair advantage?
Oh man, that's a good question. Um, it's just having, a good sphere of influence, honestly.
Hmm.
It's just having that trust with my clients over the 20 years is, they've trusted me thus far. So
Right.
I am not going to lead them into something, that's potentially going to cause them harm.
Hmm.
So
Okay. So trust. All right.
yeah.
Um, if you could, oh no, let's go to this one. Yeah. What about the most overrated piece of real estate advice?
Hmm. Um, I that is also a good question.
Hmm.
I would say that sometimes always taking people's advice as far as location,
Hmm.
uh, that you get a lot of people saying that don't invest in blue states or something like that.
Yes, I've
Uh,
heard that a
you
lot.
know,
Uh-huh.
it's definitely not so much whether it's a red or blue state, but I would say it's just if it's a good deal.
Hmm.
You might be taught that or kind of stray away from that, but I think if the numbers work, then move forward with it.
Okay. Okay. So numbers are what determine whether you will go forward or not. What do you think about the like expression? I don't know the exact wording, something like you can change the property, but you can't change the location.
Yeah, same thing. You want to try to, buy something, for instance, our Columbia deal, the one right across the street has already been remodeled and redone,
Hmm.
so just kind of getting in there, when you see some other movement within the neighborhoods or areas, and then just making them nice,
Yeah.
and hopefully that the other properties around it follow suit.
Okay. Okay. And then like the flip side to that, what do you think is like the most underrated piece of real estate advice?
Oh man, you are getting me on these. The
Sorry.
underrated. I might have to think about that one for a minute.
Okay.
Underrated. Yeah, let's move on maybe to the next
Okay,
one.
okay, it's okay.
I'll
We'll
think
jump,
of
we'll
something
jump, we'll jump to another question. So just two more. Hopefully they're easy. So
Yeah.
is there anything if you could go back that you would do differently?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely. I would have started in multifamily and these spaces way, way, way earlier.
okay.
Um, just a quick thing. My grandfather kind of did some of the same stuff that we're doing.
Hmm.
So I just kind of wish sometimes that he would have been around a little bit longer to kind of guide me through
Right.
some of this when I first got started. But yeah, that would probably be it.
Okay. Yeah, I hear a lot of people say, go bigger sooner. So it
Yeah,
seems like that's what you're saying as well, right? Okay. And then
yeah,
go
maybe
ahead.
maybe not starting off so small,
Hmm.
that's the other thing. If you're buying a duplex or you're buying, a triplex, I understand that the amount of units is more if you're buying, 100 units versus 4 units, but you're still doing the same exact process. You're
Yep.
still getting financing, you're still checking insurance, you're still making sure that the deal's good, you're still going through that whole process. So it's just exactly what you were saying, more so
Hmm.
go big a little bit earlier and maybe not start with a few single family houses,
Uh-huh.
it just multifamily gives you a little bit better buffer if
Yes.
you have a vacancy.
Yep. Okay. And then what advice do you have? What's the best advice for new investors or someone new to real estate, new to multifamily?
Yeah, you might know what this is already, but just don't sit on your hands, I would say
Yep. I figured you would
is
say that. Okay.
is my motto. Early in my career, one of my now partners, that's what he told me to do. Is
Hmm.
when I first got started, I said, if you were me, what would you do? And he said, well, if I were you, I would get on a deal as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Just because I had met, quite a few people out west at a conference that hadn't done anything at all, and had been working, the program or deals, for a few years and just
Right.
hadn't even done anything. So, it's what we call analysis paralysis,
Right.
just constantly getting these deals and constantly finding a reason why to kill it and never
Hmm.
actually taking that leap and stepping off that ledge. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's definitely my biggest word of advice is to search, search, search.
Okay.
Find the deals, but find the right deals, and don't be afraid to take that leap of faith.
Okay. So I'll paraphrase someone and say take massive freaking action, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Take massive freaking action. You got it, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anything that I didn't ask that you think like maybe like the audience what might have wanted me to ask, or anything that you wish that I asked?
As far as if this is more so for your investors and my investors, I'm going to go right back to my last answer is don't be
Hmm.
afraid to step off that ledge.
Right.
It's maybe new and different to you, but the concept of, using other people's money to buy things and do this has been around for a very
For
long time.
ages. Yes.
For investors, of course, the most important thing is to, look into your sponsors and, make sure that you're getting into a good deal, and do your due diligence with the sponsors and all of that. But just don't be scared. You can make a whole lot of money in this space and in this business
Yes.
if you could just find, the right people to help you and you allow them to let you do that.
Yes.
So,
Okay. I love that answer very much, actually. Okay.
yeah,
Um,
thanks.
and then any special project or resource that you're excited about right now that you want to share, or if someone wants to get in touch with you, maybe for example they want to invest with you or whatever, how can they, where can they reach you, and how can they get to learn more about you?
Actually, my down at the bottom, my
Mm-hmm.
website is there. It's investwithnatural.com.
Okay.
Uh, my company is National Investments and Capital, or you can reach me by email at Mike Olson, Olson, re.com.
Okay, so I'll be sure to add all of that to the description of this video once it is posted as well. All right, Mike.
Easiest way is just you can get on the website and put an inquiry in
Yeah.
any of the pages on there. Yeah,
Cool, cool. All right. Well, I hope some people reach out to you based on this. But yeah. So thank you so much, Mike, for coming on here and sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, and your experience. And hopefully we'll have you back like maybe 6 months later to see what's new with you and what's going on, and what new and exciting projects you're working on. Yeah.
great. Hugo, thank you so much. Had a great time. Hope I added a little bit of value to your podcast.
Oh,
And
definitely, definitely. All it's pretty much one-way traffic at this point, but I'll find a way to repay you eventually. Don't worry.
oh, buddy, don't worry about it
Yeah.
at all. Don't worry about
Okay.
it at all. Well,
All
thank you
right.
very much for having me again, bud.
Nope. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
All right.
Take care.
All right. You too.